Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Eeks and Geeks.
Hi.
I'm Lauren.
I'm
I'm
Kirsten.
Siberia.
Okay. Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling.
I am Siberia.
And I'm Pumpkin. Good. Great.
What do I say next? What's the next part?
Tell us what we're watching.
What are we watching? What did we watch? What did we watch?
I lost the plot there for a second. It's like, what are we
Train
doing?
of thought went somewhere else.
We are on the last movie of our block for found footage movies, which is my pick this week, and we watched As Above, So Below.
Oh, oui.
Okay, again, the French are going to be upset with us.
And
That's
again, the French have every right to
And
be
that's
upset because they're French.
We're the
I'm
least
telling
of
them
their
you said
worries.
Yeah, we're also the least French supportive podcast.
I would like to state for the record that that is not true.
If the Prey episode has anything to say about it, I feel like we can take that cake.
No, not
unless
Prey.
there's a title, unless there's a podcast
Prey.
called Fuck France, I
Prey?
think we got
Oh, the French and Prey.
Yeah.
I forgot.
it. We go, the British? No, worse. The French.
Okay, well, before we dive in, has anybody been watching anything? What you been up to?
The Last of Us episode 2.
Show is so goddamn good. I don't know.
Oh,
So
they put something in it.
It had me by the balls.
Yeah.
I was like,
Ooh. I wish Pedro had me by the balls.
Oh, I haven't watched the second one yet, but I
We won't say
am
anything.
tonight.
But it's fantastic.
I am tonight.
And I expect live texting throughout the whole thing.
Okay, I will.
I have a funny story. It's not that funny, but
I want to hear.
I wanted to just have something on in the background while I sewed. And so I just opened up HBO and I looked through the horror movies, and there was one called Shudder, and I've never seen it before. I've never even heard of it. And so I just
Movie called Shudder. Okay.
I just threw it on. I made it through maybe like 15 minutes and I turned it off. It was horrible. And then I looked it up and it has an 11% from Rotten Tomatoes. And I was
I haven't watched it since I was a kid, but
the casual racism, because they're like Americans that moved to Japan. And he's like, let's go get some ice cream. And she's like, do they even have ice cream in Japan? He was like, well, they do, but it's fish flavored. And I was like,
I haven't watched Shudder since I was a kid, but I
remember
liking it when I was a kid, so I'm
probably not
go back and watch it.
Shutter.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was awful. Like worse than dog shit.
Super dog shit.
Super dog shit. We've got a whole category for it.
I would rather rewatch Terrifier than keep watching that. I turned it off.
Damn.
I was like, I can't watch it.
Maybe I shouldn't rewatch that.
Maybe you just let that one live however it is.
Yeah, I'll just leave that in the past.
It is. I made it up to like the first scare, and it was so bad that I was laughing at it. Like it's so bad. It's awful. But yeah, that's the only thing. Other than that, I haven't watched anything scary lately.
I haven't either. I only watched what we needed to. I watched Tar, which was a horror movie in how much I disliked it.
I've heard of it.
I think that's so funny because I have a film friend, which I guess makes sense, but she loved it.
It has fantastic reviews, and I was so excited to watch it, and then it was just so disappointing. And it is a shame because Cate Blanchett is like phenomenal as this woman. Like like no knocking her performance, it's like literally perfect. But just it was so long, and it just felt like they kept introducing these like little nuggets and be like, ooh, I wonder how that's gonna come back around, and then it just nothing did.
Yeah,
like everything that they brought into it, it was just like they just didn't do anything with any.
I hate when movies do that, when they introduce all this like potentially super cool shit, and then it just never makes a reappearance.
And it was like, well, why was she like, because in the movie she's like a very prestigious like classical music director, and there would be just like little things, like she'd be in someone's office and you'd see her like steal something off the desk, and you'd be like, ooh, that's a weird thing, like, and they're not drawing attention to it. She would just like pick some up, put it in her pocket, like stealing things, and be like, I don't know what that is. And it's like, they didn't
come back to it.
Yeah, no, it's like, it's just never addressed. Nothing is ever mentioned. It was
she's just a little klepto, just a little.
Yeah, it was
in a silly, goofy mood.
Yeah.
Disappointing. But other than that, I just watched what our podcast movies are, so
yeah.
Which I'm excited to talk about this one.
I am too. Do we want to give final thoughts? Go around?
Sure.
I already feel like I have a inkling of what Kirsten's are, because I saw your Letterboxd rating, and I was like,
oh,
okay. All right.
I don't hate it.
You rated it lower than our movies last week, which I didn't feel like you liked. So.
Oh, I liked them last week.
Okay. Well, let's start. Go ahead. Lead the charge.
I did really like this movie. Here's the thing. If my rating of like good movies is if like I'm hanging out with somebody and they're like, hey, you want to watch this? I'm gonna be like, sure. And that fits in this category. I just thought the ending was very chaotic. That's my only qualm with it. It was a really good movie. I got very anxious with all those tight spaces, and
Girl,
it was
heart was like racing.
It's like worse than Descent in some parts. I'm like,
truly, like, I mean, I've seen this movie, I know what happens, and like the whole second half, like my heart was like, I was like, I don't know if I'm having a heart attack, but my heart is like beating really hard. I'm very anxious right now.
Yeah, that's my only qualm. It's just like the ending is kind of chaotic. I would have preferred scarier looking demon stuff.
Agreed.
So I give it like a 7 out of 10.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Wow.
Letterboxd is harsh because you only go out at 5.
I know. I have a hard time with the out of 5.
Yeah.
But it's like you rated it like a 2.5, and I was like, that feels like an F to me on Letterboxd.
No,
That's
it's
like,
not Letterboxd. Yeah, it's hard to rate things on Letterboxd. So I'm like,
I wish it went up to 10.
No, it's not awful. I just have qualms with the ending.
Okay.
Yeah.
Punky?
I wrote, it was really hard to formulate an opinion on this one because there were just so many things happening. There's a lot I loved, super effective scares, and a really cool mythology, almost kind of like a horror version of Indiana Jones or like Tomb Raider. But there's also just so much that I didn't like, some pretty bad line delivery and very wacky random things happening at the end. Also, lots of cliches I saw coming like a mile away. It is a really fun watch, though. I give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay. I'll take that as well. Siberia?
I had a great time watching this movie. I think that the premise and setup and the lore of it is really, really cool. It's almost like the movie that I compared it to was National Treasure.
Same. I have notes about that.
Yeah.
It feels a little bit, it feels very like horror National Treasure at some points, but I just think that the entire movie was brought down like a significant chunk of points for one of the most unlikable main characters
I hated
in
her.
the history of cinema. I fucking hate Scarlett. And I have so many fucking notes about how much I fucking hate her. I literally cannot stand. From the second I started this movie, I was like,
Yeah, you texted me and you're like, I hate this bitch. And I was like, I mean, she's like kind of annoying, but it's not like.
No, because she got them into this whole thing and then she gets to survive. Fuck you. No.
Okay.
So yeah, effective scares, really good premise, really good setup, dog shit main character. I give it a 6.
Okay. Well, obviously this is my choice. So I love this movie. Like I said, I got a little nervous because on the last episode, I have never checked like the Rotten Tomatoes of this movie, and it has horrific Rotten Tomato scores. So I was like, oh my God, is this movie like
what was the number again?
It's like a 26 critics and like a 40 audience. It's like really bad.
It's not that bad.
I know. It's like really not. But I think, to be fair, when you read like all of the bad reviews on it, it's all people being like, found footage movies suck. And it's like, okay, not really a valid criticism.
Why did you watch it then?
Yeah, people being like, oh, it's such a shaky camera. It's like, okay, it's not any shakier than Blair Witch or like literally any other found footage I've ever watched.
Yeah.
And that's like the majority of the critiques is like just that it's a found footage movie. So I don't feel like that score is representative of like what it's actually like.
Fans.
No, yeah.
So yeah, I love this movie. I watched it because it came out in 2014. So that was like one of the first, because I got into horror in college. And so I watched that a lot in college. And I remember always really liking it. And I just think the whole premise is so fun. Like the whole searching for the Philosopher's Stone lore and like the national treasure of it all. And obviously we know I have a bit of a type for cave-based horror.
I hate caves.
I was like, drink every time I pick a Descent remake. Sorry, I've got a type. Even the part where she's like in the cave covered in blood, I was like, now this is the third movie I've picked where
I have a note
underground covered in blood. So, but I was telling Siberia like that, I guess obviously is just something that is very scary to me. So that is just always going to like be an effective kind of horror movie for me. But I just think the premise is so fun, and there's a lot of fun facts that I have that like even as I was reading them today, I was like, I like love this even more now.
I'm excited.
Yeah, but I would give this like a 8 out of 10, 8.5, somewhere in there.
Okay. Oh wait, let me do the math.
I'll put in 8.5 for the sake of math.
Okay, 8.5, and we have 2 6s, and then a 7. So 6.8.
Okay, which is
live with that.
I think that what all of the non-Rotten Tomatoes scores are about that, like a little under 7.
Yeah,
because it's like 100% watchable. Like it's very fun. If somebody wanted like just a horror movie to throw in, I'd be like, oh yeah, you should totally watch it. It's really fun.
There also is something fun. I will give it. There is something fun about an unlikable main character too.
Yeah,
like I hated her, but I'm also like, I love to hate you because you're so stupid.
I think she's interesting because it is so annoying. Like when we have someone that is like the sole reason for like getting them into this mess, you know? But then she also is the one that's like figuring it out, and she figures out how to escape. Like she is able to get them out. Well, you know, not all of them, but I think that's sort of she's sort of like, in National Treasure, like she is Nick Cage's character. Like, they're in this pickle, but like he's figuring it out.
I just don't like that type of character, like a Sherlock Holmes, House
a know-it-all.
Like I'm better than you, and I get to break the law and get away with it because I'm a genius, and I was right the whole time. And it's like, that doesn't, no, you don't exist in real life. I speak 13 languages, and I'm a black belt in 4 different types of martial arts.
She speaks 4 languages, all right.
Okay, but I'm saying like
4 languages.
I'm saying like that trope, that type of character. Every time I see one of those, I'm like, okay, here we go. All right, Sheldon.
Yeah, Siberia, you called her a pick-me.
Yeah, I was like the pick-me energy of her being like, I promise, guys, it's gonna be so cool. Like, you guys have to come with me. I swear, please. Oh my god, please, come on, please.
That's not what a pick-me is.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say so either.
Pick-me's are do everything for male validation. That's a pick-me.
And to be fair, she is doing this solely for herself. Like, she does not give a fuck about
kind of to an
anything.
insane degree.
Yeah. Okay, so my first fun fact, I thought it was really cool. I found out that this movie is the first ever production that secured permission from the French government to film in the catacombs. So it was like all actually filmed down there. Like I was reading that they like got that piano down there, they got the car down there, and they like.
I assumed this was a set. I didn't know they were down there.
I mean, I'm sure
like
parts
some
of it are, but like they
the parts
actually
that are like cracking and crumbling are probably a set.
Yeah, like there are definitely sets involved in it, but like anywhere where they're like touching bones and shit, like that is not when they're climbing over the bones, obviously, but like when they're in there, they're actually in there. And the guy who plays George has claustrophobia, so he really struggled during filming because he had to like take a lot of breaks because he was like freaking out down there.
I wonder if they experienced any like paranormal shit while they were down there.
I don't know.
I think it's supposed to be haunted.
If there's somewhere that's haunted in this whole world, it's probably there.
If it's made out of, I don't know, human skulls, I'm gonna guess it's probably haunted.
So cool though. I think it's and I like love that setting. I think like the catacombs are really fascinating. So just
I was surprised this is the first horror movie that's set there because I feel like it's just ripe for the taking of horrifying.
Yeah. yeah, it's really just the descent on crack because it's like a real place and there's all this lore and tight tunnels and you can actually go down there. Really cool. Okay, so a lot of this movie is obviously like parallels to Dante's Inferno. And they make a few references to that, but like reading further into like how much thought they actually put into that was really cool. So for example, La Taupe, like the mole guy, so he's shown with like supernatural speed, like he gets around places really fast in times where they are all wet, like have to go underwater. He's totally dry, so there's like weird things about him. So it's like he is dead and he is found in what is representative of like the first circle of hell, which in Dante's Inferno is limbo. So that's why he's there, because he's just like in limbo, stuck there. So
he's
that's
the
like,
guy who was like, you didn't come back for me. Like,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's that guy. And that's why he's like in that first
Formal.
layer. Yeah, that they go in.
When they first go through the little thing they have to pull apart.
And he's creepy as fuck, just standing there.
Yeah.
And his eyes are just like all black.
Yeah, he's very scary.
Yeah.
In the video game Dante's Inferno, this is where all the unbaptized babies are. You have to like fight evil unborn babies.
Oh my god.
It's a great game.
So more examples of like the circles of hell. When La Taupe, I don't know if that's how you say it, but he like bashes Susie's head in. They're in the 7th circle, and this is all like sectioned out, like people have mapped it out. So this is the 7th circle of hell, which in Dante's Inferno is called violence. So that's why it's like he just like kills the shit out of her out of nowhere. Yeah. The man in the burning car who kills Papillon is found in the 9th floor down. In Dante's Inferno, the 9th circle of hell is called treachery. Papillon betrays the man and himself by believing he had no part in the man's death. Oddly enough, Papillon is punished exactly how Virgil describes in the 8th circle of hell, called fraud. Virgil states, out of the mouth of each one there protruded the feet of the transgressor, and the legs up to the calf, the rest within remained. So his like just his legs are on the ground
coming out.
And there's like a ton, like everywhere everyone dies, like they all have like an actual significance in like the parallels of Dante's Inferno.
Really cool.
I know. I was like reading all of them. I was like, this is actually so fascinating. I was like loving the hell out of reading all those today. So yeah, those are my fun facts.
Cool.
That was fun. And those were facts.
A little fun fact section. We need a jingle.
Fun facts. Yeah.
We'll work on it. Okay, are we ready to...
You guys are clipping your mic saying it like that.
You are clipping it.
The mic is like, I don't even know what that was.
To be fair, I said almost no vocalization sounds.
Yeah, that was just explosives.
Get to the point.
Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
Ready, Freddie?
Part 1, as above. We open with a scene of Scarlett Marlowe, a young scholar continuing her dead father's search for the Philosopher's Stone. Scarlett is filming herself in Iran when she finds the Rose Key artifact in a cave slated for demolition. She's able to get footage of the cipher, but after she sees a vision of a man hanging from the ceiling as the demolition begins, and she narrowly escapes. Scarlett travels to Paris, where she enlists her former lover, George, to translate the information on the Rose Key. All of this being recorded by cameraman Benji, who is making a documentary about Scarlett's quest for the Philosopher's Stone. Discuss.
Poor Benji.
I like George.
Literally poor Benji.
Benji didn't deserve any of this shit.
I know. He's just trying to make a little
Poor
documentary.
Benji the whole time.
I got his panic attack. I was like, so bad for him.
He and a couple other characters, but especially I noticed him, some of his line delivery, I was like, you didn't want to do that one again, but you're going with that take? Okay.
But to be fair, he doesn't talk very much.
He says, they're talking about like the corpses down there, and he goes, whoa, 6 million corpses? And I was like, that, you didn't want to redo that line? You're going to leave that in? Okay. All right. Okay.
That's funny.
Yeah, my very first note of the whole entire movie is this girl is annoying the shit out of me so far.
I did not find her that annoying.
I didn't think she was that annoying either.
I was like, you already breaking and entering and causing shit you shouldn't be causing.
It's the national treasure of it all. Let her live. She's trying to find long lost treasure.
My second note is just, George is so baby girl.
I think they're both so hot for real.
He came out and I was like, oh, we have a film now.
Have you ever seen that Hillary Duff movie where he's in
is
it?
that what he's in?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
The whole time I was like, he looks so familiar.
It's one that my mom loves because it's like a mother-daughter movie. The Perfect Man. Yeah.
And isn't he? You don't think he's cute looking?
I feel both of them are so generic looking to me. Okay,
beautiful.
I sometimes people are like too good looking to the point they don't even look like real humans in my brain. I can't, like an Abercrombie model, they're not attractive. Like that's not even a person. They're just they just look like that. I don't know.
It's like hot NPCs.
Yeah, it's just, so I can't find them attractive. My brain is like, he's a guy. I guess individually all of his features would be considered attractive. Sure.
Okay.
I feel like I like people that have like there's something about them that's
different.
A little bit a little bit different, like a unique face. Yeah. I had to look up, like, as she was talking about stuff, I had to keep looking it up because I was like, is this like real mythology? And like it is.
Yeah, because I think I've looked it up before, but I forgot. But I was like, was Nicholas Flamel like a real person?
Yeah.
And he totally was. And
yeah,
like,
I looked
the
him up. I was
Philosopher's
like,
Stone
oh,
is
shit.
like a real, which made me be a little bit like, J.K. Rowling, you're really not even that clever, are you?
Yeah, literally the whole time I was like,
not even that clever.
Stole this too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole time I was just like, this is all Harry Potter.
Yeah. Like I thought she made all
you
of
can
that
bleep
up.
out what Kirsten just said. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Could you imagine like you say Harry Potter and it's just like bleeped out?
No, I bleep out J.K. Rowling's name.
But I just love this whole setup. I just think it's like, I don't know. I just love the whole premise of like the.
Well, because she goes to visit him in the clock tower and he's like, fuck, no.
He's like, get the fuck out of here. I already know you're up to some shit.
Yeah, and that's when I knew I liked him.
I feel bad because I was rolling my eyes because I saw the cliche like miles away. As soon as he was like, she got me thrown in a Turkish prison.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, there's gonna be some, I'd get thrown into 1,000 prisons for you, or like they're gonna bring it back. It's gonna be like a romance thing. And then like when it happened later,
that
I
week
was
in
like,
Turkey was the best week of my life.
I was like, I saw it coming from so far away.
Let it happen.
No. Oh wait, we haven't got to the part where they go in the museum, right? Or we did?
No, that was just like that very beginning.
Okay,
cool.
okay. All right.
Do you want me to move to that part?
Yeah, I don't think I have any other notes.
We got a little bit more. I was having a hard time like breaking the sections up because they were getting like, I had that one as just like a little tiny one and they were all long, so whatever. Anyway, part 2, we are watching National Treasure. The title of this part. Okay. Okay, using codes from the key, they solve a riddle on Flamel's headstone and get clues indicating the location might be in the Paris catacombs. Scarlet tries to reach the location on an official tour, but it is not accessible. A stranger tells them a guide called Papillon can help them and they can find him at a party. Scarlet convinces him to lead them down in exchange for half of the treasure that they find. He agrees, and his girlfriend Susie and his friend Zed join as well. Papillon takes the group to an off-limits entrance. George initially refuses to enter, but when a policeman confronts them, the group escapes into the caves. They encounter singing female cultists, including a woman they saw at the party. As the group crawls through a narrow tunnel, it collapses, trapping them and forcing them onward. The group finds a blocked tunnel, but Papillon explains people who go through the tunnel disappear. His friend Latop, i.e. the mole, is among the missing. He tries to take a different path, but the group somehow loops back to the blocked tunnel and they decide to break through.
It was the second she mentioned the ammonium sulfate and the lime juice, I was like, this is National Treasure. We're doing
A
National
little
Treasure
too
right now.
specific.
I haven't
Because
seen
it was
National
Jesus and lemon
Treasure.
juice on the back of the Declaration of Independence.
It's so stupid.
Which one came out first?
Oh, definitely National
definitely
Treasure.
Oh,
National
okay.
Treasure.
I haven't seen it in so many years. I like actually don't remember all the details of what happened. One thing I thought was very funny.
2004.
So George is like translating all this stuff from Aramaic, right?
Mhm.
He translates it and it's a riddle that rhymes in English. And I was like, why would
Yeah,
that be?
One of like the goofs, people mentioned that. They were like, why would that rhyme in English? That
Yeah, I
literally
was like,
would not happen.
wait a minute.
I hate Scarlet, man. She's causing all this shit. George didn't want to come down here, and now look.
Yeah, I
Now
was
look.
really annoyed that she like pretty much like forced him into
Yeah.
like going, and it's like, why does he need to go? Like,
Yeah.
Hold on. There was one part, it pissed me off because when was it? She gets onto Papillon. She's like, his little brother drowned in a cave. Okay. He's scared of caves. And I was like,
Mhm.
then why would you pressuring him?
yeah, why are you
First.
forcing him in there?
My only thought is that like in case something was down there that like they would need him to solve, like, because he's the only one that can translate that language, but it's never mentioned. Like, she doesn't ever say that, but that's just my guess, is like her selfishly like needing him just in case he needs to translate something.
I can see that.
Also, Papillon is so casual. He's like, there's always weird people down here. And it's like a cult.
Literally, one of my notes is, I'm sorry, we're just gonna dismiss the weird cult.
And they're like down there too. It's not just like
And they're singing,
right.
they're in harmony.
Yeah.
Like
When that one looks at the camera with her, like, she's got that
she's,
eye makeup, that I hate how much that scares me. Her just being like,
she's given Suspiria. She's like,
yeah.
That was the same girl that walked out of the club and was like
Mhm.
staring at them, right? But
Yeah.
like,
and
why?
Yeah, why?
and at the club
I don't
she did the
understand that
thing
part.
that you see El Top do later, where you like
Mhm.
look and she's like way farther,
farther,
away than she
yeah.
should be.
I think she's just like a demon, or part of the mythos of
I
whole
found
cave
the
system.
whole cult thing and that chick very confusing. I was like,
I did think that part was
I
kind
I
of
felt
weird.
it's unnecessary. It
Well,
didn't
because it
need
never
to.
comes back.
Well,
Yeah.
she is the one that kills.
she like scares Benji and so he falls, but
Yeah, she like pushes him down that well.
I assumed he
Well,
like jumped out of fear. I don't know. I guess they don't show what happens.
Yeah.
I felt poor Benji's a third wheel. He's just filming Scarlett and George flirting, and I was like, Benji,
I was thinking
camera
about
away.
that. A lot of their scenes where they're like this close to each other, just like riddling in each other's faces, and Benji's just.
Mhm.
poor
I also-
Benji. Of course, he's the one who gets stuck.
I know. I felt bad for him.
Like, and he's having that whole freak out, and I go, "You're handling it better than even I would. I
Hey,
do
yeah, I
worse."
Before that, I have a note that just says the cop yeeted him.
that
Because
comes out of nowhere.
he just like boom.
Well, I thought the cop was a demon because it was so
Yeah.
just like sudden.
He just appeared and he just bodies him.
He
It's
bodies the fuck out of
I feel like a normal response would be like, "Hey, get out of here!" Not let me tackle you.
He's seen these kids before. He's not wasting his time with French pleasantries. He's
Is there such a thing as French pleasantries?
Exactly. There isn't.
But yeah, that part with Benji, like I was getting like anxiety, like watching him like in
kinda
that tunnel,
long.
like freaking out. I was like,
Yeah.
oh no.
And when it started like cracking and crumbling, I was like, "Well, bye, Benji."
I thought he was
But
gonna
he
die.
did make it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, of course he's gonna die first, and they didn't. I was like, oh, sorry. I didn't mean to accuse you of anything, movie. I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
That
They would never.
when they're like on the train tracks and they're like in, Papillon's like, okay, it's down this way, and they just look at the entrance. I was like, fuck no. You
Mhm.
couldn't
that like
pay
little
me-
crack.
You couldn't
Yeah,
pay me
no.
$1 billion. Absolutely not.
No.
That shit looks so scary.
This
then
is where I
this-
tap out. I'm going back the way we came.
Yeah.
Literally. And like the second that like she wants to go through that tunnel, that's like, don't go in here. I'd be like, have fun. literally have fun in there. I'm so fucking out.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've been caving, and I've been like hardcore caving. Like you get to a part where you can go back if you want, or you can keep going. And they didn't even have me do like crazy shit like that. It was like, I'm not squeezing my body through.
I've belly crawled through caves before. Siberia was texting me last night, like, would you go caving for any amount of money? I'm like, I've like done caving stuff.
I did it for
before.
free.
Like, yeah, I've done it before. It's very scary.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it gets really scary and intense.
Absolutely not. I won't do it.
Yeah, no, not for me. I know what a rock looks like. Thank you very much.
You can use all your body muscles like crawling through things.
Yeah. But I did read in my little looking up stuff about this movie. I don't know if it like the director said this, but someone was saying that door isn't really even like the door to hell or whatever one says, like, ye who enter are found.
Yeah.
Abandon all hope, ye who enter here.
Yeah, so that's like not even the one that like gets them all fucked up. It's actually that first one that they go in, because
that's when you meet Eltop.
No. Like when they first just like go down there, it's not that like first that like little door. It's like when they first go in. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because like they see that door and he's like, no, we're not going through that, and then they like go to a different room and it's like back in that. It's like that little door is still there.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not even that door that's the one that's messed up. It's like the entrance down there is like the fucked up one. It's confusing. I need a map.
Yeah, because I was wondering, because he said don't go that way. That way's bad, and then so was that way technically not the bad way?
It just like it was always going to be like that door was always going to pop up for them to like have to go through. Confusing. There's like so many chambers and like tunnels and stuff. It's like hard to explain it all. Part 3, girl, you're on your own. Immediately once inside the tunnel, strange things start to happen to the group, like a graffiti symbol of Papillon's appearing on the wall despite him never being there, a phone ringing with a strange voice on the other end, and George's childhood piano being in the tunnels. Further in, the group encounters Latop. Despite telling them that they shouldn't be there, he tells them going further down is the only way out. After much traveling down and some booby-trapped rooms, they eventually find a tomb with a preserved Templar knight. More clues show another hidden room where they find a mound of treasure and an artistic slab with the Philosopher's Stone inside of it. After they take the stone, attempting to take the treasure triggers a trap and collapses the room. Latop seems lost under the rubble. Using the stone, Scarlet magically heals a wound on Susie's arm. In another room, they find a drawing of a door on the ceiling along with a Gnostic Star of David, symbolizing as above, so below, which reveals a hidden opening in the floor. Going through, they find a tunnel marked with the phrase, abandon all hope, ye who enter here, in Greek, identical to the script of the entrance to hell in Dante's Inferno.
That was a fat chunk.
I know. I was really having a hard time like breaking this up.
This is another, I guess, I don't know if it was a cliche back then. I know lots of, no, because The Ring kind of juked you with it. But another cliche I saw like a mile away, because Scarlett says later, like, because my dad killed himself. He wasn't crazy, whatever. And I was like, oh, was that the hanging dead body she saw?
Yeah.
And then as soon as they're down there and like the phone rings and I was like, is that her dad? And then you see George is like, oh, this is my childhood piano. I was like, this is going to be one of those movies where it's like, you got to let go of the past or whatever to like get out. I was like, okay, another like cliche.
I would say like it at least makes sense in this context, like whether it's a cliche or not, like they're in hell. So at least like that premise makes sense.
I just kind of, I hate when you can like see, like you already know what's going to happen from like the first 15 minutes of the movie. You're like, okay, yeah, it's one of those movies. I really didn't like the phone ringing though. That is, if I were just in a cave and I heard a phone ringing, get me the fuck out of here. What is happening?
We gotta be anywhere but here right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember what it was. The fact, like the cliche of him being like, the A4 key always messed up on my old piano. And then he does it, he's like, ding, 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 ding. And he's like, oh my God. I was like, yeah.
I almost wish he had
You're in
like
hell.
I wish he had like been playing it, and then if it had like went out, him like then having the realization, but it's like he says it and then like immediately it's like, yeah, that's the piano.
Oh, but when the phone is ringing, Scarlett just takes off. She's sprinting.
She
I was like,
runs.
girl, where?
Why?
This
Are
is
you
this is
running?
not the
Why?
time to like lose the group. You know?
Yeah, let's not
That's not
sprint
it.
away from the people we're with. I have a note though when she like gets to the phone. I was like, yeah, go ahead, answer it, pussy.
She does.
I know, but I was like, I wouldn't have.
I
I've been like,
wouldn't either.
that's weird. Let's leave.
But
That's
I will
weird.
say one of the
That's
most
suspicious.
effective conventions in this movie is the when you see someone and then you look back and you see them way farther away than they
Mhm.
should be. Like that
It's
just
like,
like really gets me. I'm like, stop moving so quick when
Just
I'm
like
not
very
looking.
subtly unsettling, just like,
Like-
where are they so far?
And also, can we please get my boy Benji a break? Like,
Yeah. He goes
Doesn't-
through it. And this
I thought it was funny when
is this the one where he like falls down the tube?
no,
No.
that's
Not
later.
yet.
I thought it was funny though. There's one part where like the ceiling starts cracking and one of them goes, "Is that bad?" I was like,
yeah, it is.
no, it always does that. That's fine.
And was that child we saw, like the flash of that kid, is that George's brother?
No, actually,
I
that
don't know
is
who that child was.
that is Zed's child.
Because
'Cause
I
he-
just have a child. No.
Because when he says later, he's like, I have a kid that I'm like not acknowledging as mine.
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh.
because he's the one that looks down and sees that. So it's like it's his child.
Okay, I was just like a child. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't
Hi.
get that either. I thought that it was Benji's brother, or no, sorry, George's brother, until I was reading.
Yeah, that
reading up
child
on it.
part.
I love when they get into the treasure room and like the whole story when she's like talking about the
The treasure room is so
Stone.
cool.
It really
Yeah.
is. Mhm.
I was
when she like
went in-
tells them all to turn their lights off, and it's like there's light coming. It's like they're internally lit lamps from the stone. I love it.
She also, for someone who cares a lot about the Philosopher's Stone, she goes at that thing rough with that chisel. She's like,
Yeah, there's like a lot of it left behind. I'm like, you're kind of like wasting your your magic
Like-
stone there.
It was crazy.
Oh, but Benji, this was the part where Benji went down and he cut open his hands on the rope.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's what
'cause
have.
I
have
said-
a note
I said-
that's like,
Mhm.
I have a
I'm
note that's like, Benji, you have the worst luck, my guy.
I said, why do bad things keep happening to Benji?
He was
thought-
just doing his best.
I saw that and I was like, oh, this is that like descent part where she like cut her hands. There's gonna be something going on with the
Oh.
hands, and he's gonna
Yeah, there's
But-
some descent parallels
a
to be
lot
sure.
of descent parallels.
I have a note where I interrupted myself because I guess they're talking about the treasure. I was like, the treasure, bitch. I would not give a fuck about. Is that a body? Fuck that.
When they find the guy like on the table.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, no, I'm out. I was already out. Now I'm extra out. I don't want
Yeah.
anything to
And
do
the-
with this.
The
Yeah,
way
that-
he's like not decomposed enough. It's just like
yeah, it's so
you're kind of like
telling.
expecting
dead.
him to stand up or like
Yeah, I think he was gonna
I'd be
like,
like-
pop up or something. Fuck
It ki-
that.
It gives you
Oh,
that
no.
expectation when they turn their lamp, like because they all turn their headlights off, and you're just like, oh my god, when they turn those back on, he's gonna be somewhere.
I was so scared of him. No, fuck that.
And then after he heals her and they keep moving like down, they come upon like, it's literally like the deepest pit you could ever imagine.
Mhm.
And they, one of them just goes, it's a way out. And I was like, is it? It's really
Ugh.
deep. I also appreciate that because Scarlett is the worst and got us here, she is the first one to go through the gate of hell when she
Yeah.
reads it. I was like, yeah. You go.
She's
first.
leading the charge at the very least.
Yeah, I guess if I have to give her anything, it's that because I'm not giving her anything else.
And I do just like love the whole idea that like it's so scary how deep they have to go every time. It's just like
Mhm.
every patch is just like the longest tunnel straight down into the ground. But then when they hit that flip, it's like even though they're still going down, they're like going
actually
up,
going
actually.
up.
Oh,
Yeah.
the ending is, I like that.
Yeah, it's so disorienting the fact that they have to keep going deeper to get out. I'm just
Mhm.
like, this doesn't make sense.
And you
I
just
hate
feel like
this.
there's no way. They're just going
Because also they just
Yeah.
have to blindly believe that guy that's correct.
Well, I mean, truly, like, because it is the worst that she gets them into all of this, but she is the only one that's like, we just got to keep going. Like, and there is
But I will say
genuinely
they'd
no
be
option.
They'd be toast without George. They'd be fucking toast without George.
At which part? Like, what are you thinking of specifically?
Well, he's just always the one who can translate and is there to
Oh.
like know what's happening historically. Because like she
Mhm.
understands enough, I suppose. But like he's like, I feel like her like encyclopedia.
Yeah.
I feel like they aid each other. I feel like they're
Yeah, I'm not
equally
giving her that much
knowledgeable.
credit.
She
said
is a
8.
she is a professor. All right.
Professor pissing me off.
Oh my god.
I have 2 notes. One, when she's like explaining what the picture is, and she says "as above, so below." I was like, she said the name of the movie.
Drink.
And then I also said, "Congrats, you found the gate to hell. Now you get to go to the worst haunted house."
You're in Hell House now.
Yeah,
There's-
for big time.
I mean, they kind of with like the cloaked figures. I was like, "This is Hell
Yeah.
House."
You're
here.
I thought the same thing. It's like that very Hell House LLC of them.
You did it.
Next section titled So Below. On the other side of the tunnel, the group finds an upside-down reflection of the room that they just left, where somehow Latop is waiting. He kills Susie and disappears. Deeper in, the cultist from the party pushes Benji to his death. Papillon is then sucked into a burning car with an apparition of his brother inside, who looks just like the stranger who told Scarlet to find Papillon at the beginning. The car implodes and buries Papillon in the floor. Scarlet, George, and Zed move and see apparitions of terrifying spirits and demons. Statues on the wall come to life, and one rips open George's throat. Scarlet tries to heal the wound with the flamel stone, but cannot. She realizes she stole a false stone, and she must return it to its original place to find the real stone and heal George.
That I was confused. Why did it work on Susie then?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was trying to think about that. I was wondering if it was like because they were so close to where they found it, like maybe it has some sort of like it works for like a second and then the farther they get, it like loses its magic or something. Because I wasn't totally sure about that.
She also chiseled it. It could have gotten offended.
You need to
Don't
leave.
give me that.
This is like where I think some hokier elements that I wish they had left out come into play. Like
Agreed.
The
Like the
CGI
stone-
car.
I like the car scene.
Okay.
It looks so bad.
I thought the
But
car
the
scene
car
was so
scene-
strange. The like
My
just goes-
favorite moment of this whole
Oh, that
film.
part's weird.
My favorite moment of the whole film is the lead up to the car scene when you're just seeing the flames around the corner, and it sounds like what you would think hell sounds like,
Yeah.
like just screaming and like agony. And so like around that corner, I personally was like, that's gonna be fucking hell. Like it's gonna open up and it's gonna be like this huge like cave full of like demons and shit. So like that the lead up to the showing the car was like the scariest moment of the movie to me. And then it was a car.
I like the car scene. I do think like when it goes away, it does that weird like vortex, like it's like
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, it was a little goofy. I think I told y'all on the phone yesterday, but my opinion of this movie just kept like going up and then going back down and then going up and then going back. Because it was like so much of it was so scary. I even had to like turn the lights on because I was like super freaked out at one point. But then it was like something a little bit like goofy or wacky would happen, or somebody would like deliver a line very weird, and I was like, okay, it's not scary anymore.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I already like since I know it, like it doesn't. Those little like stupid elements don't deter me from liking it. But yeah, it's like those stone, like the stone guys that come to life, like weird. There's like a part. I think it's a little bit later, but there's like mouths like biting in the wall.
Yeah.
It's like we're throwing a little bit too much wacky shit.
Because
Like,
I was
it's
really
already
happy
scary
with the
down there.
hands coming out of the blood
Mhm,
river.
I
Like
like-
that was
yeah,
really
I like
effective.
that.
Yes, that's good. I
Yeah,
didn't mind the mouths. I thought those were kind of like, I don't know. I guess because they seem to me almost like screaming spirits trapped in hell or whatever. but the
Yeah.
rock monsters coming out, especially since she just pushes them out of the way. They don't even
Oh,
pose
she
a
does it
threat.
twice. She yeets the fuck out of those stone
Yeah, I
monsters
was like,
twice.
so they're not even like a threat. They're just like a goofy rock monster. Like,
And also,
why
they're
did
obviously not made out of stone if you can throw them out of the way.
Well, to be fair, I don't think, in theory, nothing is an actual threat because it's all about like when she gets it and she realizes that it's just like how she's like the world is how she believes it to be. So it's like,
Oh, and then all the hands like recede out of the
yeah, like nothing
thing.
down there is actually there. It's just like her perception.
We haven't gotten to all those parts yet, right?
Not like when
Okay.
she realizes that, but
just
just
the
like
part
in
where
theory.
she realizes she's got to go back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're at the part where she has to go back.
Yeah.
Okay. I just thought that part was weird to me because it felt like they walked pretty far and then somehow she was just like zoom zoom. Like it felt
And she
very
was
fast.
just able to just like climb up bare rope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
like-
oh my god.
it felt very
Be
fast.
so hard.
Like, she was
Like,
like, I'll
what
be
do you
back.
mean?
And she went boom boom. It's
Yeah,
like
I
that. It's like that SpongeBob. You want to see me run to that mountain? Want to see me
Wanna see
do
me
it
do it
again?
again?
You want to see me get the philosopher's stone? You want to see me do it again?
Like that's what it felt like. She was just like zoom zoom, and yeah, like I felt like I was watching a video game too, from the way that like her camera is, because it was like throw, run, run.
Especially since George is like bleeding out of his, is it George or Zed? Who's hurt?
George.
It's George.
George.
It's my boy George.
He's like, he's bleeding out of his neck. I was like, I don't think you have time. He's gonna be dead by the time you get back. And then he
Yeah.
was still alive, and I was like, how?
Which is probably why they
yeah.
made it seem like she got there a lot faster, because otherwise it'd be like, we
I'm
don't have an
surprised
hour,
Zed-
girl.
I'm surprised Zed stayed there. I thought he was gonna piece the fuck out as soon as she left.
I also
Zed,
thought it was
what
funny.
a loyal one.
He
for
really
real.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't even know these people, and he stayed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She picks up. Oh well, never mind. We're not at that part yet, where she's like
Um,
actually going back. Never mind.
I will say, like, there was a part when, like, it was right before the stone monsters came out, and like, Scarlet was like, they were all just like so scared and like going through the caves. At this point, I have a note where I was like, I would be like, can y'all just be for real? Can y'all just tell me what's going on? Enough with the theatrics. Like, really, just what's going on? Like,
I'd be trying to talk to the cloaked figures. I'm like, hey, do you work here? Can I?
Like,
do you have a
please.
manager I can talk to?
I also the cloaked figures, I was like, very Spirit Halloween of them. The
Yeah.
shape of the hood is like the like the mascot for Spirit Halloween.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is when it was starting to lose me, because I was just like, it's just so chaotic. I feel like hell would be scarier than this. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I felt like if they had just tightened it up and just
Mhm.
picked a couple things, but instead they just kind of threw like 30 different things to be scared of, and I was like, okay, but not all of them are working. Just pick one or
Well,
two and make them
also
really
don't know
effective.
I don't know if I ever understood that we were actually supposed to be in literal hell, because it just didn't really feel, it didn't give that vibe.
Yeah, it didn't give that vibe that we were in hell.
Yeah, it was like we're still in the catacombs, but now
Yeah,
weird
it's-
stuff is happening.
Uh-huh. That's how I felt it was too. I didn't think we were actually in hell. I was like, oh, this is a weird thing that's happening in the Paris caves.
Mhm.
Yeah, I got that they're in hell because nothing made sense, but it didn't feel like we were in hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where I have my note, though, that the Blood River is giving descent.
I like the blood river, especially when George sees his little brother in it.
That
I'm,
was
like under the
good.
bones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
That
it's
was
like
very
freaking out.
Moon Knight.
Oh,
think
yeah, you're right.
I kind of like their interpretation of hell, because like obviously what you think of is like, you know, flames and torment, and like there's obviously like a very like popular vision of like what hell is, but I like this idea of just like you're trapped like physically in a place that you can't get out, and you're almost in this like time loop of just like nothing makes sense, and you have nowhere to go, and you're just trying to get out, and there's no way out, and you're just going deeper and deeper and deeper down, and you're confronted with like your own personal demons. So it's like
Yeah.
I like that sort of
So
interpretation of it.
if they died there, the people that did die there, are they in hell, or do they like are they stuck there in hell, or do they get to go?
I don't think
Yeah.
you ascend.
But what if they love Jesus? What if they love Jesus with all their heart?
But poor Benji, he didn't deserve.
Benji doesn't
Benji-
deserve to go to hell.
I was gonna be so mad though if she made it out with no one else.
Yeah, I like
it was just
three of
her.
them get out. Like, I'm glad that it's not just her and George. Like, it's like Zed, look at him getting out.
He's
It's
kind
like-
of a
but
random
he's like-
character.
Yeah.
Peace. We'll get to it, but
Yeah, I thought he was just like, I've had the worst time of my life. Goodbye.
I hope to never see you people again.
Yeah,
Fuck both of you. Goodbye.
I would have been mad if it was just George and
Mhm.
Scarlett
And
getting
Scarlett,
out. Just
yeah.
them. I would have been like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, I'm like, fuck
Well,
you.
shall we get
movie.
to that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Part 5, I apparently did not title the
Good.
ending of it. Movie.
Good job.
Thanks. That was me improving.
Escape from hell.
Oh, I love that. Okay, Scarlett races back through the tunnels, finding the train is now flooded with blood and filled with clawing hands. When she returns to the treasure room and returns the stone, she sees a mirror and realizes that the true power of the Flamel stone is within her. As she returns to George and Zed, she sees the same hanged man that she saw in Iran and recognizes him as her father. She apologizes for ignoring his phone call shortly before he committed suicide, and her father vanishes. Scarlett then returns to George and is able to heal him with her hands. Chased by the demons, the 3 survivors are cornered in front of a dark hole. Scarlett explains that they must confront their inner demons and jump in to escape alive. George confesses that he failed to save his brother from drowning, and Zed confesses that he is refusing to claim his child. They survive the jump into the hole and find themselves in a room with a manhole at the bottom. They open it and it reveals them the right side up to the streets of Paris. Scarlett and George hold each other while Zed walks away, finally safe. In an ending log, Scarlett says that she never sought treasure, only the truth.
She got it.
I like how she stops and does like the cliche thing where she's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't get your phone call," and he just like goes away.
I didn't know how much pain you were in.
My ass
I
have been
have to-
like, you, just kept running.
I would have I'd have pushed him like a curtain. Like, bye.
It's me.
You're not real.
She was having her facing the inner demons moment. She had to make peace.
Kind of cliche though.
It was so cliche.
Yeah. I did think it's funny. She like finds the camera and then like both crawling through the bones and like hugging her dad. She has it pointing at her face with the flashlight on. And I was like, why would you be?
How normal
Why?
people film in a,
That's the only sometimes
situation.
like in found footage movies, because I'm so like critical of, why would you be filming or whatever. I'm like, sometimes they have it and I'm like, why would you? Why would you have the camera? She's like hugging her dad and like, are you holding the camera face?
like,
yeah, like this is such a weird why. And then when she's crawling through the bone, I was like, you don't want the extra flashlight to help you see? No, point it directly into your eyeballs. Yeah, okay. That makes
Well,
sense.
because it also like with the dad thing, like if it had just been her head camera, it would have been like actually I feel like more endearing and more cool to have it just be like ruffling
The
of like
wall.
fabric
Yeah.
I did too.
or like something with like a
Mhm.
black screen.
Also, why pick up the camera?
Why?
I don't know why she took. I mean, maybe just because like
'Cause she
it's
gets
got all of
slick.
this footage on it, but yeah, she never like uses it.
She
so I don't.
but she was planning on coming back, so she could have just left it there, and then like
Oh.
because she's at a she could have just picked it back up. I don't know.
She
guess-
rocks that stone person with it. So
So
weapon.
Yeah.
so funny. I have a note that this literally feels like most of my nightmares. When I have like a weird dream, it's like this. Nothing
Just
makes
like nonsense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like, oh, I have to go save my friends. And I open a door and I'm in a volcano and I'm like running through the volcano. And then I jump in and now it's a lake and I'm swimming through the like
it
just
and then
no
you're like
sense.
in school. You like swim across the lake
Yep.
and then you're like in school and you're like, wait.
I'm like, God
what's
damn it,
going
I
on
didn't
here?"
know I re-enrolled in school. I'm late for class. This is literally how most of my nightmares go. Just like nothing makes any sense.
The part where she's like, "We gotta jump in." I would be so skeptical. I'd be like, "Are you kidding me?"
But at that point, like I'd
Yeah,
be like,
at that point,
whatever.
for real. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I hope the fall is long enough that it just kills me on impact.
I hope I have a nice breeze on the way down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole like tunnel thing felt so goofy.
Yeah, it is weird. I think it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
part of
The
like
CGI was bad.
the hell magic. It's like not a real tunnel that they fall down. It's just like their portal out type of thing. But yeah, the CGI is
Well,
whack.
because I love the fact that they had to they like pushed on it and it was like, and you could see the tree waving.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh,
That
okay,
was
upside
cool.
down from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
That is like one of my
Like that
favorite
scene.
horror
I did-
movie scenes. Them pushing on the manhole and it's just like they made it all the way to the top. I love that so
I thought,
much.
yeah, that part was
So
pretty
cool.
cool. Like them, like getting their way on it, and it's
Mhm.
just like this is the gravity of it all.
Yeah, I know. I
But-
thought the same thing. I was like, do Stranger Things take notes from this? I don't know. They might.
What's his name? Zed.
Mhm.
Yeah,
When he's like, okay, peace, y'all.
He doesn't say
Bye.
anything. He just
he does hug them. Like they do like a little group hug,
yeah.
and then he stops and it's just like,
I hope to never see you
They're
people
like-
again.
That was crazy.
I'm gonna
go home. My friends are dead now.
It's like all
I
my
love that,
friends are
like,
dead,
I love
so-
that like Notre Dame is in the background, like they're just right
Yep.
there.
The kiss
Does
was
that mean-
cliche too.
Does that mean
The
that he
kiss
just,
was so cliche.
I don't know why she kisses him. That's lame.
yeah? Does that mean
Yeah.
that you
Because-
could just lift that manhole and there's hell?
She doesn't deserve to
Maybe.
kiss George. I do.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, does it work both ways, or is it like
Yeah, really-
there if you
Yes.
open it from the bottom?
Some like
Oh.
street worker is just like, I gotta service this manhole today, and then he's like, holy, I'm
He
in
jumps
hell.
down a magic tunnel to hell. He's like, what the fuck?
Maybe it would work like the opposite. Like that would be the entrance, and it would. I don't know.
I'd like to think that he jumped straight to like the ninth circle of hell.
Yeah.
Just like, oh my god, it's my
Yeah,
job
if
not
I-
bad
if-
enough.
If I opened that and was like, what the
What the
What the
fuck?
fuck is
I'm gonna
that?
cover that back
Not going down there.
I'm actually gonna quit today.
It's really fun. I just wish like they'd cut some cliches and just like tightened up the ending.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like pick one or two really effective scares and keep it at that.
Yeah.
And then it would have been like such a good movie in my
Yeah.
book.
It has some product of its time type of
Yeah.
elements in it that it's
Because
like,
like the CGI when they're falling down the well, I was like, okay.
not good.
The car just I was like,
Oh.
mhm. Yep, that
You
looked
never, you never
great.
suck a car into your pocket or nothing.
I wish I could.
Honestly,
Nobody'd steal it.
Just like overall, just I think it's just such a fun premise. And I mean, like, I know that we're saying like it's cliche and we're like, oh, it's like this movie, it's like this movie, but I don't feel like I've ever seen another found footage that is like anything like that.
No.
so-
because it's
I-
also yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's a found footage movie. Like it's
Mhm.
gonna have the things.
It's gonna have what it's got.
But I felt like the middle was just so much scarier than the climax.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
Same with Hell
because
House though.
yeah, same with Hell House. It's just kind of like just being in catacombs and like hallucinating shit. That's scary right there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You don't need to add in rock monsters and guys in cloaks and like
Mhm.
No,
just keeping it to like seeing relatives and
Yeah.
like a fucking phone where it really shouldn't be. Like that's just scary.
Like the
Yep.
mental, like everyone's internal mental struggles, but not like,
Yeah.
well, is that because I was reading that the hooded figure that was like in the chair, that was supposed to be like actually Satan. That's
Uh-huh.
like-
well,
Oh,
make
okay.
it a little more obvious. Then.
Yeah, well, and it was because when it turns its head and it's got like a weird face.
yeah.
Mhm.
I was reading that was supposed to be like an angelic baby face or something, like some sort of like a cherub kind of face, and then it was like all messed up on one side because like Lucifer fell from heaven, and so it was like a fall, like he fell on, I don't know, I was like reading a whole bunch of stuff about it. I was like, I don't know if all that came across in that like quick
Yeah.
second that they
It
flash
didn't.
it. So it's like I just wish it's like if they had just like taken that out, the other
Yeah, I
people
agree.
out.
Yeah.
The
Also-
cultists
And if they want
don't
to
need
include
it.
Satan, like make it very clear that it's
Mhm.
Satan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And he doesn't really do anything to them, so it's
no.
like,
And
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you're gonna have the cult, at least like drop us some hints that like they worship Satan and that's why they're down there or whatever. But they just
Yep.
felt random. I was like,
Mhm.
why does this lady just keep appearing? What is
super
hap-
unnecessary element to throw in there.
Yeah, I was like,
Mhm.
just kind of tighten up your like mythology or your lore here,
Mhm.
and just
Yeah.
give us some effective scares and leave it at that. Don't throw all this like random wacky nonsense at us. It
Mhm.
just made it like so
No.
not scary. Oh, sorry.
Did anyone's opinion change? Or are we
I
still
I think I'll still go with a 6.
Yeah, I'm still
With-
with
I think
7.
I might go up to a 7
Oh,
Yeah, I'm gonna
okay.
keep it at 7.
after
like
talking about
I
it.
said, it's one of those movies. It's like it's not my favorite, but like if I was at somebody's house and they're like, "Hey, you want to watch this?" I'd be like, "All right." Like I'm not gonna be like, no.
Yeah.
Oh
But
yeah, I definitely watch. I definitely show it to somebody.
yeah,
I feel like it's a safe recommendation. Like,
Yeah.
try
Yeah.
that, and it's short. It's like a solid hour and a half. Just like if you like found footage. you might
That's
like
the other. There was no point during this movie where I was like bored and wanting
Yeah.
to
I
look at
was
my
like, how much
phone.
is left?
this.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, because there are some horror movies I'm like, just kind of checking. I still have
Mhm.
fucking 45 minutes somehow.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, there's some movies that I keep checking, and I'm like, oh God,
It
why?
never will end, please. Well, great. I think I'm gonna count that as a success.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
God,
think the
I
whole
cannot
found
even tell
footage
you how
genre
much
was a success.
I was shitting my pants over those Rotten Tomato scores. I was like, am I about to do myself a circle here?
Like a 29 just seems
You could never do that
ludicrous.
again.
I know. It's like I feel like it's unfairly scored. It's not any worse than any found footage I've ever seen.
I feel like there's a couple that I read, and it's like people just don't. It's like when I was reading the Anaconda ones, and it was a bunch of new people just being like, I hate this movie. Like
Bad CGI. And you're
yeah,
like,
and it's
okay.
like, okay, yeah, because it came out in the 90s. I don't know what to
Yeah.
tell you. Like,
It's old. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess also, I mean, they're film critics, and I know that like I've heard that one thing film critics really hate is like a predictable movie or that is similar to something they've seen before.
Mhm.
And so I don't know if that is maybe why a lot of them. I've also like, yeah, found footage movies. I as far as I can tell, it seems like critics really hate them.
Hate them. Yeah.
Which I think if you can make it work, I hate them when they don't make any sense and they're
Same.
stupid. And I'm like, put the fucking camera down.
Mm-hmm.
But like when you can get it done well, like found footage is usually, I think, more creative and like more
More
entertaining to
creative
watch.
and scarier.
Yeah,
Scarier,
it feels
for
like
sure.
they just don't like it because of the style. It's like they just don't like found footage, so it's like they don't like it, and it's like,
Oh,
that's not really a fair thing to base it off of, though. Like that is what the movie is. Like, don't watch it or don't rate it. I don't know what to tell you.
I was thinking As Above So Below would be such a good video game. Like you got to
Yes.
solve your puzzles and find clues and fight rock monsters.
Well, even when
and,
she was, like I said, when she was going through and you could just see her, like it felt like I was playing a video game. Like I was like having to shove through. Like I felt like I was
Yeah.
little nightmares trying to race for my life.
Well, and like a horror game that adds in like puzzles or like you have to find something and like something's coming after, those are so scary.
It's like quest.
Yeah.
Puzzles, and you're so much scary. And
yeah, this would make a great video game.
Yeah. I'm honestly sad to say goodbye to the found footage block. Like I could have kept on going.
We're gonna have to definitely do this one again because I think there are so many more.
Yeah,
that
I
we can
gotta.
pick.
Yeah, I got one I really want to watch again.
Yeah, me too.
So this will be a repeat category. I
Cool.
think.
Do you guys want to know what the next category
Yeah,
is?
speaking of,
category.
So
we're gonna put our
I guess
little-
since
little
I'm starting out the next block, I'll give it to the girls.
Give it
We'll
to
give
the
it to 'em.
boss.
So next on our poll, the second one after found footage was horror comedy.
Mhm.
Hee hee ha ha.
You guys want to know what my pick is?
What
Yeah.
is your pick?
It's a little bit of a classic. It's a gay classic, I feel like.
Oh.
Mhm.
It's got our queen. I feel like once I tell you the stars, it's going to be obvious. It's
Sorry, you said gay
Megan
classic?
Fox
Got it.
and Amanda Seyfried.
Mm.
We're watching Jennifer's Body, people.
I can quote this movie. I love it so much.
Such a slay.
So iconic.
Yeah, I love this movie. Like if I had to go like my top 10 favorite movies, it's definitely in my like top 10 favorite.
Of
Yeah.
like
Oh,
horror
that's
or all
crazy.
time?
Just all time. I fucking love this movie.
Wow.
Yeah, it's got a lot of
Wow.
like it's got a lot of like meaning to it just because I feel very like I'm very much needy. Like I am that character.
Not the adjective, the character.
I am
just
very
the
needy.
I'm not as much like her anymore, but like pre-2020, that I was very much
You
like
can
Mimi.
relate to her.
I could definitely relate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So yeah, we're watching Jennifer's Body. You can watch it on HBO Max.
okay.
Anywhere else?
And if you don't have HBO Max, you should, so you can watch The Last of Us.
I think it's on Hulu too.
I think it's like a premium subscription. Like you have to have the cable
Oh,
package with it.
Oh, sure. So
Stupid.
HBO is
I
probably
know.
your best bet.
Well, I own the DVD, so I will watch it for
flexing
free.
on us.
I'm sure you can like rent it on Amazon too.
Yeah, you probably can.
All right. Then I guess we will see you next week when we've all watched Jennifer's Body.
Okay.
Goodbye, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.